As with most technologies we've spoken about, especially from the heating side, the most important thing is to insulate our buildings. Insulate before generate, that's what we always recommend. As we insulate homes better, we're almost getting to passive house standards. We can insulate them that well, we're going to need very little heat input. So our heat input maybe from 20 kilowatts on a poorly insulated house, we could drop it down to 3 kilowatts heat input because we're not losing the energy from the building. One thing we're going to need to do is continually to keep houses to breathe. If we don't, they're going to start to rot from the inside. So mechanical vent and heat recovery, this is a system here. These are going to be more important as we getting towards passive house standards. We need them to breathe. We've got stale areas, we've got bathrooms, kitchens, utility rooms producing moisture, and we're going to have to extract that and replace that air. It would seem strange to have gone to all that trouble to insulate homes properly and then to take the heat out and put cold air back in to replace it. So a mechanical vent and heat recovery. This is going to remove stale air from kitchens, bathrooms, toilets, but instead of just dumping all that heat outside, it's going to go over a heat exchanger within this unit, and the cool air coming in is going to go over that heat exchanger and it's going to recover 90% of the heat. So we're going to be moving that warmth back through the buildings, and we see this as becoming a very important part of the renewable trail. So looking at the unit here, what do we have? Well, we've got 2 inlets and 2 outlets. And here we've got a mock-up of what you may see in a home. We've got a plenum system, so we're distributing our pipes from here. This is an outlet, and this is the exhaust. It's taking the stale air from the kitchens, the bathrooms, and it's got warmth in it. It's coming through the plenum, it's coming through this duct, and it's going over this heat exchanger. It's then sending it out. You can see these streamers. That's then going outside. That's the waste part of the air with all the parts that we've taken out of those wet areas. And then we're bringing our cold air back in through this duct. It's going over this heat exchanger, and then it's coming back through into our plenum system, and it's distributed that air back into the building, and within that air is the recovered warmth that we've taken from the extracted air. And in the summer, we still need to extract from the building, but do we really in the summer want to put warm air back in the building? We don't. So what we do is the extracted air comes back in. It still goes over the heat exchanger and back out to the atmosphere, but the internal air then bypasses the heat exchanger. It picks up none of that waste heat, and it delivers cool air back through into the building. Okay, so we're now going to have a look inside the mechanical vent heat recovery and see what's happening inside this unit. I've now taken off 3 of the lock-in nuts. I'm going to take off the last one, and what you see is a safety device. As soon as I remove the front cover, it will actually automatically shut down. Okay, so we've now removed the front cover and we have a look inside here. We can see our heat exchanger. It's a plate heat exchanger in there. We have 2 fans in there. We have an input fan and an extract fan, and we also have what we call filters. So these filters, they're going to need looking at annually. They're going to need cleaning off or possibly replacing. So there are some filters there. We can see the channels, how the extract air comes through. It circulates around this heat exchanger, which gathers the heat. Fresh air is coming in over that heat exchanger and delivering that latent and waste heat back into the property. So we have a solution there for extraction from the property, and we replace the air in the winter with warm air, and in the summer we can cool it. That is how a mechanical ventilation heat recovery will deal with that in a well-insulated building. And we'll also have a controller such as this. We can set the controller, and it's a 24/7 appliance. It never shuts down, it manages the building. And that is a mechanical vent and heat recovery system.